Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for people who share bodily heat. I'm Cody.
And I'm Tyler.
Ooh, what we watched? Tell me.
We watched The Spy Who Larbed Me.
Yeah. Spy Who Larbed Me.
Larb.
So, yep, James Bond.
James Bond? No.
These were two of Roger Moore's of his two favorite Bond films. He thought this one and For Your Eyes Only were his best Bond movies. Let me tell you, I think this is the most boring Bond movie we've watched.
You got what with Jaws?
We're like 10 movies in or so. I'm not saying it was the best or the worst. I'm saying it was the most boring.
Yeah. Here's what I think the problem is, Cody. Can I share my thoughts on the problem?
Yeah.
With you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's because I feel like there was effort put into the overall script, and then a lot of that effort was taken out. But someone tried to tell a story here. Someone tried to be true to the book.
Oh. Well,
whereas the other ones, they're like, we all know what this is.
This also was one of Ian Fleming's least favorite Bond books, and so for a long time it wasn't like easily available, and then after his death, they were like, oh sweet, he can't tell us not to print it anymore, so now it's like easily available.
Yeah. But it felt like it tried to rely on its story instead of the explosions, and it's a Bond story, so it's not that great of a story.
I mean, I've got more to say, you know?
You want to just run right into your rant?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so almost ready for this right now. Yeah, ready?
Oh, I'm waiting for your signal.
Oh, go.
Oh, okay. It's not just that I thought this was the most boring Bond movie. It was the most boring Bond movie. The first, hour and a half of this movie is them just wandering around, catacombs and deserty ruins. Just them wandering around. This is one of the only ones. Okay, granted, I had a mild fever when we watched this movie, which is also why we're recording this 5 days after watching it. But I fell asleep during this movie probably twice, and I feel like I missed nothing. No joke. And it wasn't one of those I fell asleep for 20 minutes. I dozed off. I had my eyes almost shut, then they were shut for a little bit, and then opened, just a little refresher nap because it was so boring. I missed nothing. I was like, they're wandering around in Egypt somewhere in the desert. Wake back up. Oh no, they're still wandering around. That's cool. It didn't do anything for me. Furthermore, an hour into this movie, they're like, oh, it's the Russians. We gotta get these Russians. And then he goes into the secret base, and it's like, oh, hey, the Russians are here? Oh, we're teaming up with the Russians. Like, why do we have the first hour of this movie? Why don't we start the movie after they already teamed up? They went back and forth fighting each other? I don't know. Who calls it bodily heat? It's body heat. It's just, not only do they call it bodily heat, they call it that 3 different times. And it made me cringe a little bit every time they said it. Just bodily heat. Oh, no, you can't say it like that. You can't say it like that and have a PG rating, That's my problem. This is an adult film if you're going to be saying those words over and over again. Probably the best moment in this movie is a very stereotypical and very offensive Mamma Mia! They're somewhere in Italy, something falls over, some Italian man who looks just like Mario from the Mario game just shouts Mamma Mia. I was like, this is great. I don't know. I guess this would have been before Mario. So is that the Italian man who inspired the original Mario? I think so. I don't know. It just seemed boring. It seemed bad and boring. James Bond pretends to be a marine biologist, but a sexy one. I don't know. He's like, I'm always working when you're by the ocean and a marine biologist. I'm like, marine biologists they're not sexy. Don't try to make this a sexy job. The evil villain lives on some sort of a floating underwater aquarium city, which is pretty cool. James Bond pretends to be I don't know, a marine biologist shows up. They're like, wow, pretty cool fish. Yeah, nice to meet you. See you later. Like, were they meeting to buy a fish? Were they meeting? It just seems like they met for no reason. Like, thanks for coming to my secret evil hideout. Anyway, we won't talk about anything, but I will let you leave. It just, I don't know. It's not making any sense. A bunch of rich people are sitting around for some sort of a light show. You know, like I don't know. There's a sphinx. There's a pyramid. They light them up green. It's really boring. There's a chase scene during it. The stakes here, I think the thing is they're going to launch nuclear submarines at New York City and, I don't know, Moscow, some other, the Russian city, and Americans, they're going to cause a world war, and then as a result, people would live underwater or like fish, aquariums, New World Order? I don't know. The evil villain guy had webbed feet and hands, which you did not notice. Really too bad, because it was quite a, they gotta have their quirk. For a guy who likes fish and aquariums, that's a pretty good quirk. So, yeah, we did it. Great job. Probably my least favorite Bond movie. Because if it was bad, it's fun to watch. And if it's good, then it's good. But it was just okay and boring. That's 5 minutes by my watch. I don't know what. Oh, I got 4 seconds? I got 3. I really don't have any time left, is what you're saying.
I'm gonna have to cut you off, Cody. Sorry to end you mid sentence there, but I think the best move for both of us right now is for me to just go right on into mine, if you don't mind. Okay, Cody, let me catch you up on this film, on this masterpiece of filmmaking. Yeah. So here we go. We'll go through the whole thing. So what they start out with is there's this agent, this dude, this hairy-chested man, and he's making out with this girl, and you're like, oh, Bond. This is Bond. He turns over, it's not Bond, which you realized, I believe, both at the time and then again halfway through the movie. So it was like, you're very feverish, you're very out of it. But so then they turn over, and it's the woman who's the secret agent. What's her name? Triple X. That's her name. And then she takes the call, and it's like, and she's like, got it. And then they don't see her for a little while. And then they show Bond. He is also making out with a woman. And then he leaves, and he's in the Alps. That's the twist. Leaves, chase scene. The girl was a trick double agent, maybe, I don't know. The girl he was with was Russian, probably. She calls the people. He kills the guy. That's important later, Cody. Here's what we move on. We move on to Triple X. Now she's meeting with her version of M, who's what? Colonel something. What? Give him a code name, Russia. Come on, man. Do something with it. You gave her a code name. Why doesn't the boss man get a code name? Get it together, Russia. Okay? I've come for France. I'm not coming for Russia because they do some cool stuff later. But I have qualms with this part of it, okay? So then she's got to do the thing, and then he's like, hey, this agent that we knew you were macking on, he's dead now. And she's like, oh. He's like, he's died here at this place. She's like, all right, I'm going to kill the guy that did that. And then they move on. That's important later in the film, Cody. Okay, so then they move on. There's submarines. But a submarine's missing. They lose all their power, and they got to surface, and then they go missing. And then they got to figure it out. And then they go, and then it's like, boom, here we go. We're here. James Bond, he got a thing that he puts up on a screen, and it's the exact same as the path of a submarine. And they're like, Oh no. It's like someone knows how to track the submarines. Cody, someone knows how to track them. So they got to buy that from the people. They got to buy the tracker from the people. So they go to buy the tracker from the people. And then it's him and the sexy Russian lady, and they're in the dunes. They're at the light show, which I told you is boring because there's no lasers, Cody. What do they have in the light show now? Lasers. And they're cool now. That's what the difference is. Lasers make a light show. Light show before lasers? What? You're just turning lights on and off. Boring? Nobody likes them. Except for the rich people that like to go to those weird ballets where it's like 2 people and they move like 3 times in an hour, and that's it. Those people, they're the ones who like it. The Waynes. But that's for a different movie. Okay? Cody, so then they're going through the thing. There's Jaws. How can you not remember Jaws? Oh, by the way, the bad guy, he kills somebody at this point. He kills somebody with a shark. He got a shark tank inside of his underwater lair. Tank inside of a layer inside the ocean. That's what we're dealing with here. His name, Stromberg. It's my name backwards. I was excited about it. Why does that make sense? It doesn't. Stream Mountain? That makes no sense. Mountain, stream. That's what makes sense. Bergstrom better than Stromberg. Remember that for the rest of your life. Okay? So then they're fighting, but then they go into a layer that's underneath some ruins. I don't think they were actually in the ruins when they got into that layer, because guess what? He's like, oh, is Moneypenny is there? Hung up the thing. He's pissed because they chased Jaws. They lost the stuff. Okay, Cody, they lost the thing. Here's a fun fact. When he said Egyptian builders, he had to mouth that line because there was somebody there from the Egyptian government making sure he didn't say crap like that. But then, boom, he said it. He mouthed it, and they dubbed it later. Got him. Okay? So then they go in there. He's Moneypenny, and he goes in there. Who is in there, Cody? Colonel What's-His-Name's in there. And then the girl's there, and she's like, it was so easy to get this. It's like, no, it wasn't. You almost died. Jaws ripped that van apart with his bare hands. He's a machine. He's like the Terminator. He's a Terminator. She's barely like Sarah Connor. Okay? That's what we learned from this movie. Okay? They get it. They're working together. Cody. They're 2 sexy agents working together. They find the ship. The British guys, their captain dies. They go to stop the ship. They all die. They accomplish 0. 0 things were accomplished. They made no progress, but they really made it sound like they did make progress. And then James Bond rode on a disco ball to blow up a thing with a nuke exploder guy, and then they got in there and he grabs the dude. He's like, it's too late, but it's not too late. They make them blow each other up, and then they go out of the ship, and it's just like Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm gonna have to cut you off there, Tyler. You make some good points. Stromberg. Didn't even catch that. Bergstrom. That's good.
His name's, you can also call him Carl.
I didn't forget Jaws existed. I did enjoy watching Jaws tear a car to pieces. I am impressed with how hard it was for them to drive away from him. So that was pretty cool. I mean, there's an underwater car in this movie, which is pretty cool.
What about when she hit Jaws with the car and said shaken, not stirred, like it made sense?
Like it made any sense. This is one of those movies, like, before they had, like, good punch-up writers. Before that, there was, like, a process for that. And so, I think they just had no writers on set, and they're just like, alright, who has a good idea for a line they can say? Nobody? I don't know, just say something. And then, like, these not trained improvisers are like, what's a James Bond thing? I don't know, shaken, not stirred? I'm like, well, great. Let's move on.
Yeah. That was another weird thing.
Jaws? Okay, here's the thing about Jaws.
Yes.
The actor who plays Jaws, his name is, like, I don't know, Richard Kyle or Harvey Kyle or Keel or something. He's from Happy Gilmore, okay? I don't care who you are. He is not Jaws from James Bond. He's the tall guy from Happy Gilmore that punishes people and breaks clubs. Like, that's who he is, in my mind. As soon as I saw his IMDb page, I was like, well, that's it. That's what I know him from, and that's probably his greatest role. Furthermore, it was spoilt for me that he is also in Moonraker. Yeah. He's got a credit in Moonraker. So, I don't know if he also plays Jaws or he plays someone else, but the actor is going to appear in Moonraker, okay? I forgot Jaws is alive at the end of this movie. Also, I was like, wait, isn't this just the same time that Steven Spielberg's Jaws came out? Yup. Jaws was inspired by Steven Spielberg's Jaws. Also, Steven Spielberg was considered for directing this movie. Then he wasn't. Jaws, okay? So his whole thing is he has metal teeth and he bites hard. He's big, also. He kills a shark at the end of this movie. Like, as a big F you to Steven Spielberg, he bites a shark to death. You're telling me a man underwater is going to be able to beat a shark in a fight?
Did you see him get it
also,
in a headlock?
to be able to bite the shark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How is the shark going to be hovering by his mouth? It just doesn't make any sense.
He lifts it up by his mouth.
How would you be in biting range of a shark without the shark having... The shark's mouth is huge, okay? Yeah. How? And all the shark has to do is swim towards you, open its mouth, and what are you going to do?
He grabbed it and bit it.
I understand. How did he grab the shark without it biting him? That doesn't
He grabbed
make
it
any
by the
sense.
gills.
Furthermore, okay, I'm not saying an underwater aquarium isn't cool and necessary. Wouldn't it also be cool if you had like a big cage around your thing that the shark is in, so it doesn't have to be in glass, so it's already in the ocean? Wouldn't that be kind of cool too?
No.
As an alternate thing? I'm just saying if they remade this movie, that's how I would do it. But I guess they have to they have to surface, because they do surface sometimes.
Yeah. Surfaces to meet with marine biologist. They didn't mention it at all. The first time you realize he's a marine biologist is when the guy's like, "Are you busy?" And he's like, I'm a marine biologist. I'm always busy when I'm by the ocean." You're like, what? I guess he's impersonating a marine biologist. And then the guy's like, "I'm sure you know what that fish is," and points to, I believe, is it angelfish? Is that what it is, right?
It's either an angelfish. No, I think it's a lionfish.
Lionfish. You're right. That's what it is. Because the angelfish is the one that's like it's very similar, but it's all feathery and it's got
it's
lots
pretty.
of prettier.
Whereas the lionfish is spiky.
Yeah, both have spines and can kill you. But he points to a fish, which is a fish that I feel like a lot of people could identify.
Maybe it became famous from this movie.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
But James Bond, he's like, it's this, and then gives like a Latin name and a bunch of stuff, and it's like, okay, so why'd you pause and like sweat for a little bit?
Every time James Bond, James Bond's always impersonating different careers or whatever. Every time he does it in the evil lair, it fails. Like, remember when he pretends to be like the Scottish genealogist guy?
Yeah.
And doesn't fool the people at all? They're like, yeah, no, that's the wrong crest. Like, I knew it was you the whole time. And it's the same thing with this one. Like, he leaves, and the villain's like, yeah, that's James Bond, and I'm not going to sell a fish to that guy. And you're like, wait, you...
Well, see, I don't think they were selling. I think it's just like Stromberg's like supposed to be this dude that's super into marine biology, and he's like, "I'm here. You want to meet?" So they meet. Stromberg's like, "What's that fish?" He answers the question. He's like, "Cool. That's all the time I have." Could you imagine how
pre-internet age where you hire professionals to come to your evil lair to identify stuff for you?
But he asks it to be a test to prove that he's a marine biologist, and then he's like, here's my plan for how I think we could. He shows him his little model of an underwater city, which is just a bunch of golf balls in a tank, and a model of his little city, and he calls it Atlantis. Mm-hmm. And he's like, check this out. What's that fish? And I'm like, I'd be pissed if I was a marine biologist that flew to another country to meet this dude.
And came, not just flew to another country, but came to the middle of nowhere to an obviously evil lair. Like, it's just...
It's the Legion of Doom. That's what it is. It is literally the Legion of Doom's lair, just a James Bond.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Here's a fun fact about one of the end scenes. The cinematographer, excuse me, started to lose his eyesight. So the man in charge of lighting this movie started to lose his eyesight. Pretty cool fun fact, right? Not as cool as this. The man they hired to help finish out the movie, Stanley Kubrick, under terms of complete secrecy, agreed to come and help finish the movie.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick did like some of the ending evil lair like explosion scenes. He lighted those.
I mean, I
Stanley
don't think they
Kubrick
were
worked
bad.
on a Bond film.
Bond really seems like the kind of
They
thing.
hired a cinematographer who was going blind.
I know.
The one guy who has to be able to see, cinematographer.
Yes.
The boom guy doesn't even have to see. You just have to say, raise the boom, lower the boom. That's all he's got to know. Lighting guy, that's the guy.
There was
He's the
one
guy that's got to see.
There is a sound effect somewhere in the movie. I commented on it. Maybe you remember. But it sounded like the boom guy hit something with the boom.
Yeah. You're like, that's good. Let's use that.
Yeah, like, because it wasn't like a pop. It was like a crack in the middle of a sentence. I'm like, did the boom guy hit something? And they're like, that's fine. It's okay.
Oh my god. I don't know. Okay.
Or when the thing was flooding and the cameraman obviously got knocked over by the water.
Oh yeah.
He fell. It was like everything short of. They probably cut it right before his foot popped up out of the water or something.
Oh my gosh. The other thing I forgot about this movie, it starts with the ski scene.
Yeah.
Where it looks just like the George Lazenby Bond film. And I learned they were supposed to do this. The shot where they have the Union Jack parachute, it's like iconic. Like, it's a big deal. This is when Bond became the same as like Robin Hood or any of those other iconic British heroes, you know?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. All I remember about that scene is he goes off the edge of a cliff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, obviously the thing on his back is a parachute. We all know that. Like, I can assume, like, what else would it be? It's a parachute. Except they wait like 20 seconds to pull the cord on that chute, and it was just, I was like, he's just going. And it's so white, you're like, I don't even know where the floor is. Like, is he? Are we just going to watch a man die, and then it's going to be another thing where it's, no, that's not James Bond either. It's this other guy. And they just waited. They waited.
Was
They
it only
waited.
20 seconds?
They waited. it felt like it was so long. But
Here's the other thing. In the George Lazenby Bond, if I remember the ski scenes, like there was the crap, weird effect where obviously he's not skiing, but they like had a fan on him or something, and he was like moving. Mm-hmm. This one, they did the same thing where it's like,
there's a green screen or something? Or...
could they do it? Is it green screen, or is it just like a projected thing behind him?
Yeah, something like that.
But he's like, it's like they just told him to stand there. He's like, stand there and kind of sway a little bit. So that's what he's like, yeah. Just kind of bobbing his head back and forth very slightly. And I'm like, dude, you're in like a life and death chase down a mountain, not for skiing. Like, people don't ski down this mountain.
Yeah.
This is just a mountain. You're very chill about this, and there's not anything. And then it's like, it cuts to the wide shot, and there's like snow flying in his face and bullets past his head and stuff. And I'm like, this is real bad.
Speaking of that scene, do you know the name of Roger Moore's stunt double in this movie?
More Roger.
No. Probably my favorite stuntman name I've ever heard.
Give it to me.
Like, it sounds like an SNL skit stuntman. Like, if they did a skit about a stuntsman.
Jack Dangerfield.
Oh, that's a pretty good guess. Rick Sylvester.
Nice.
That's like such a 70s stuntman name. I love it.
Oh, two first names.
Rick Sylvester. I love it. Fun fact, Elon Musk owns the submarine car from this movie.
Is a submarine car. And he owns
Also,
it.
there is a very cool story about how they got this car in the movie. So
Give it to
James
me.
Bond, they're big deal, right? The James Bond movies. Mm-hmm. And everyone knows the best way to get something in a James Bond movie is to play hard to get. Yeah. So they took it to an extreme for this movie. So this car hadn't been made yet. It was still like, it hadn't been like manufactured. So Don McLaughlin, who was the PR manager of Lotus, realized the best way to win the position of getting the car in the movie was to make them chase it. So he turned up at Pinewood Studios driving a brand new, unreleased Lotus Esprit. Okay? So he brings the car, totally unmarked, no logos, no nothing on it. He just parks it outside of the studio one day. Finally, everyone comes over and is like, who on earth, whose car is this, right? They're all on lunch break checking it out. Then once he attracted a crowd, he just gets in the car, drives away, answers 0 questions.
That's a baller move.
Yeah, Albert Broccoli, the Broccoli family who does all the Bond movies,
Yes.
chased him down and was like, hey, I gotta get this car in the movie, and that's the submarine car.
And he's like, I know.
I know. I know why you're here. I couldn't believe that. I was like, what a baller. He's just like, I'm going to park my car outside this studio. Then I'm going to get in it like it's no big deal and drive away. And then wait for them to come to me.
That being said, there are some people around here, or at least around where I live, where they have...
There's a reminder for Cody.
Hold...
Thanks,
Cody,
Google.
Cody, Google's going to remind you of something. But there's some people around where I live that have Lotusi.
Yes.
And, yeah, so there's like Bentleys and Rolls Royce and Ferraris and stuff that I pass usually. And it's like, nothing makes me do a double take except for the Lotuses. And like the one guy who has, like a McLaren that he takes out once a year.
Oh, gosh.
It's like an older one, but it's very obviously one of those. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a very nice car. I think it's one of the guys that builds all the houses that all the other rich people live in. But yeah, they look cool. They draw attention, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Almost hit many things.
Yeah. And here's the thing. You think I'm probably out of fun facts about this movie, don't you?
Oh, give me more.
No, you're an idiot and you're wrong because I have 3 more.
Oh.
Okay, the first one, this is the last movie Elvis Presley saw before he died. He went to this movie and then went home and killed... No, I'm just kidding. He saw this movie, 6 days later, died at his own home. This is the last movie he saw. Isn't that...
Do you think he was thinking about this?
Doesn't that give you comfort? I think he was thinking about how he would never own a submarine car and then became depressed and stayed in his house until he died.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened.
He had a bunch of Monte Cristos. Everybody's like, how did he die on the toilet? Have you seen what a Monte Cristo sandwich is?
I mean, yeah. It's a fried sandwich that you cover in powdered sugar and jelly, if that's what you... I mean, it's like, yeah, no, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, remember in this movie how they just reference how he was married once?
Yeah. Which destroys the whole thing. They're different people with the same code name.
And you're always like, no, it's a different Bond. And you've always been adamant about that. I've heard that before. And I learned in this movie, it's complete BS, okay? It's the same Bond every time. Which is to say, the Daniel Craig Bond is the same guy from 50 years ago. He is still doing the same stuff.
Can I blow your mind? Because this is what somebody told me is because Casino Royale is like the first book. And it's supposed to be Bond when Bond becomes a 00 agent.
Yeah.
Because you have to get 2 confirmed kills to become a 00 agent.
Uh-huh.
And they show him getting them. So Daniel Craig is supposed to be the younger version of all these other Bonds. That's what he is.
So Casino Royale, Skyfall, these are all prequels to...
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So what? So the next Bond, what are they going to do? Are they going to...
Who knows, man?
Here's what they should do. All right. They make a Bond. They make another Bond, but it's for old Bond. And it's Bond when he's 68 years old and living in a home. And he's just going around seducing old ladies. And that's the movie.
This is what I want. I want them to do it, to really do what everybody wants. Make Idris Elba the next Bond. And then put a line like this in there that's like, they're all the same person.
Oh, all the things you've seen, Bond. And just name like something from every Bond era,
Yeah, I just like mention it. Just be like, yep, it's the same person.
I can't believe you've been to the moon and back, Bond. Like, it just everything.
Exactly. That's what I want so bad.
Okay, last fun fact about this movie. Okay, at the end of this movie, it says, Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only.
Exactly.
But you and I both know the next Bond film is Moonraker. Why? Why, may ask me, please.
Why?
I'll tell you. Because of the success of Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Star Wars A New Hope, they made Moonraker first before For Your Eyes Only.
Moonraker, my favorite Bond movie.
Oh, what's the next one? Better buckle up, Buttercup.
I'm excited about it.
I don't know. I guess this wasn't my favorite Bond movie. I thought it was rather dull. I mean, even the novelty. Okay, Jaws is great. Does he compare to Nick Nack? I say no. I say nay. I say Nick Nack is more fun than Jaws.
Nick Nack.
Because Nick Nack played both sides, okay?
He's
there. Out here joking around, helping people out, double-crossing. Like, he double-crossed his own boss, but he was still loyal to his boss after he died. You know, he's this enigma, this complicated henchman, whereas Jaws is like, hey, you kill those people? Jaws is like, uh-huh. And then he does, you know? That's it. He's one-dimensional, as cool as metal teeth are. He's not as interesting or compelling as Nicholas Nack.
Jaws is unstoppable. His teeth are made out of the liquid metal Terminator.
Okay, I'm just saying, if he's in Moonraker and we don't have a Jaws fight on the moon, I'm going to be upset.
Oh, you don't even know.
Oh, well, I think that wraps it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're at that time.
No, the time's gone?
We're at it.
We're out, you're sure?
Yeah.
Hold on. It's over?
So we got No Time.
All right.
That's the newest. No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
That's the newest one.
Oh, we're not going to make it.
We're going to do it. We're so close.
Billie Eilish is going to do the song.
We're
youngest Bond song singer ever.
We're only 20 films away.
We're so close.
So close.
Oh, yep. All right.
But until then, Cody, you share us. Ooh,
share
gotcha.
us with people. I don't care if you share us. I'm doing this for me.
Oh, yeah, me too. No one listens to this. It's just our excuse to talk about movies for an hour a week.
Well,
why are we watching these movies?
Tweet me at Opinion Havers and tell me if you want me to keep doing it. I won't stop, though.
Oh, I have an update on the Doctor Who thing. I haven't gotten the film, but my wife, huge fan of Doctor Who, asked her about the film. She didn't know what it was. But when I pointed out what it is, she was like, oh, don't do that. It's awful. A Doctor Who fan who loves all the Doctor Who's and like all those like crummy serial TV shows, she's like, it's bad.
Considering that it's like the only movie they've made and they have like brushed it under the rug and no one talks about it, I'm not surprised.
It's made by Americans. That's the problem. They don't understand the Britters, okay?
Well,
but there's the update.
Now I have to watch it.
I know.
I want to watch it.
I want to watch. It's the fact we can't get it. That's why I want to watch it. I need it.
And hard to get, just like that one dude with the Lotus Esprit. I probably didn't say that right. Esprit. Esprit?
It's the submarine car from James Bond.
Esprit. That's what it is.
Esprit.
Esprit.
Until next time, watch movies.
And have opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk said he has plans to make the car a submarine. Like, it is one of his goals to make it a functioning submarine.
Amazing.
I mean, you don't spend $200,000 on a car that's supposed to be a submarine and not plan to make it a submarine, especially for Elon Musk.
Exactly. Elon Musk.
I'm not the opposite of you. I'm just you with. I'm just Elon Musk with tusks. That's great.